Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Borderlands 2. My name is John Dynasty, and today we're going to be looking at how to defeat Pyrocaustic Pete, the Ultra Invincible. He's one of the coolest bosses in the game so far. He is definitely one of the coolest bosses that has come out of the Borderlands DLC so far. In the X DLC, Captain Scarlet DLC, the bosses in my opinion weren't too favourable because they didn't drop anything too notable, but this guy, he drops some legendary oranges sort of fairly frequently, and he drops the Seraph crystals as well, so it's definitely one that you want to sort of focus on rather than focusing on the X bosses from the old DLC. In this video I'll also show you how to farm him so that you'll be able to, you know, kill him more than once a day, because there is a system in place which will only let you kill the bosses once a day, just like the old DLC, but there is the same sort of mechanism which you can do to sort of allow you to do it more than once a day. But anyway, how to defeat this guy? What sort of imperative in this sort of boss battle is, you know, he doesn't actually have any sort of special way that you can kill him like Master Yi. The way to kill him is with overwhelming firepower. And what's going to really help you with this battle is keeping him slagged. As you can see, he takes a shit ton of damage with the Baby Maker once he's slagged, and his shields are already gone. So that's pretty awesome. One thing to bear in mind, he does do some sort of progressive damage on you for a sort of number of mediums. One of the mediums is through fire, sort of pyro in his name sort of gives that away. As you can see, I'm actually on fire now, and the way to put yourself out is to undo the valve next to the big sewage pipe there. One thing worth noting is to always go to the one that's labelled 1, because the one that's labelled 2 will release those rats, which are pretty annoying to kill, and you know, it's much easier to kill the spider ants or spider ant babies or whatever they're called, because they're pretty easy. But also worth noting is that he can dish out a shit ton of damage, so it's worth keeping on top of your location on the map. So if you get trapped in a corner, he can do a lot of damage to you, so definitely worth noting that you want to be sort of wary where your back is, where the walls are, and you know, try not to get trapped by the spider ants as well. As you can see, I do actually chuck down a grenade just after I release the fire ants, and that's going to keep on top of where they are, and it's also going to sort of keep track of their numbers and stuff. As you can see, I do actually do a bit of damage when there's not any sort of slag damage to him, but he is definitely going to take a shit ton more damage, sort of fairly obviously, once he's been slagged. I'm slagging him with sort of, I think it's the Lamidia sniper rifle. It doesn't really matter what you use, but don't try and, you know, try and keep your ammo up with shotguns and SMGs, you know, the Baby Maker and the conference call. So that's mainly the reason why I'm using the sniper rifle, just so I can keep stocked up my ammo. But anyway, that being said, as you can see, there isn't too much of a sort of strategy to defeating this guy. It's just, you know, keep him snagged and keep the damage up. I'm using 0, so I do actually get the cunning effect, where if I go into sort of sneak mode, I can chuck kunai at him, which has a sort of fairly high chance that it's going to keep him slagged. So that's fairly useful in this boss battle. But if you're using any of the other builds, it's there's going to be other ways which you can sort of keep on top of him. I know that the Siren does has sort of higher elemental effect chance, so if you keep him slagged with, say, a slag grenade or something, then that's going to have a fairly high chance that it's going to keep him slagged. So you know, it's all sort of simple things like that that are going to help you with this boss battle. Sometimes you can actually lose this fight. He's not the easiest boss. He's called the Ultra Invincible for a reason. As you can see, the conference call without the slag does literally no damage at all. So you know, there's lots of little things that are going to help you beat this guy, and you know, it's sort of imperative that you sort of stick to those sort of methods. But the attacks that he does a sort of flaming melee attack. As you can see there, he sort of runs around with the caustic and the flame. One way that you can stop the caustic damage is using I think it's called Alkaline the Bee, which is going to basically stop you taking damage from sort of acid mediums and stuff. So definitely one that you want to sort of use in this boss battle. I'm using the Alkaline Bee, and it stops me taking damage from caustic attacks. But you can use an inflammable bee. That's also going to stop you taking the fire damage, but as far as I'm aware, there isn't any sort of one way that you can stop caustic and flame damage. I don't know if there's any relics or sort of mods which can stop that sort of stuff, or maybe there's a build with one of the other characters which stops you taking sort of corrosive damage as well. I'm just not sure of that, but I'm sure there is other ways where you can stop taking all sorts of damage that he sort of dishes out, and if you do, then be sure to let me know, because I'll try it with my other builds. This guy is definitely worth killing because, as I said in the first part of the video, he does drop orange weapons, and I do have a couple of clips at the end of the video with what oranges he does drop. One of the oranges that he does drop is the B shield, which is pretty fucking awesome. The first time I killed him, he dropped a B shield, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I didn't really expect it at all. And another one that he does drop is the Logan's gun, which is quite rare. I think it's dropped by Wilhelm, or it might be the Bunker. I'm not really too sure, but it's definitely one of the Hyperion bosses who drop it. And it's a Hyperion pistol that dishes out a fair amount of damage, so it's definitely one of the oranges that you want to try and get at some point. And yeah, it's definitely probably one of the best bosses in the game so far, and I'm really pleased with this DLC. It's a lot more exciting than the X DLC, Captain Scarlet's DLC. I found with that one there was a lot of sort of problems with it. One of the problems I had was that my game actually froze after I defeat Master G, which was, you know, sort of game breaking in a few sort of ways, but with this guy there hasn't been any issues at all, and it's generally been sort of an enjoyable experience. I am aware that this has only been out a few days, and I am putting out a farming video. Yes, I have no life, but you know, who cares? It's a video game. As you can see there, I did actually try and attack him with a fire weapon, but sort of stupidly in my defense, I didn't really realise that he had pyro at the beginning of his name. So he is resistant to flame attacks, and he's also resistant to caustic attacks. So one thing you want to be sort of keeping on top of is what weapons you do attack him with. Just regular weapons that do normal damage, or explosive weapons will be useful. Shock weapons definitely are also useful. As far as I'm aware, there's not too many enemies in the game which are resistant to shock attacks. And also in your hotbar you want to keep a rocket launcher just in case things get sticky. As you can see, like when the spider ants do come out, just in case you go into second wind, you can actually sort of revive yourself and get yourself up. But anyway, that's the boss battle, pretty easy, and I'm going to show you now how to farm him. So first of all, on a PS3, go into your network settings. Once you're in your network settings, just go to the internet connection and disable it. It's as simple as that, and once you've done that, the PS3 won't register that you've killed him more than once in a day. And then go up to your time and date settings and just put it forward a day, and that will register with the game that you've sort of done it once that day, and then the day after it will say, you know, he's ready to be fought again. Don't set it to set automatically. If you set it to set automatically, that's going to fuck you over, so don't do that, and then you should be ready to go again, and rinse and repeat as many times as you want. It doesn't really matter. He does drop a shit ton of Seraph crystals, so it's definitely worth doing a number of times. As you can see, he does drop Seraph crystals all over the floor, which is awesome. He drops about sort of 15, I'd say, every single time, so yeah. And here's a couple of clips of some of the sort of more notable drops that he drops, one of them being the B shield, which you can see here, and the next one is Logan's gun. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. And as always, I've been John Dynasty, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.